Good afternoon, everybody. Barry here from Bicton Travel, and once again, it's a Tuesday afternoon. It must be time for our armchair inspiration. And today, as you all know, because you've all registered, we're heading up to beautiful Scotland, and in particular to Edinburgh. On today's call, we've of course got Sarah with us, who's over in Melbourne, and Lynn, who is joining us all the way from Edinburgh. And it's very early there, Lynn. So thank you very, very much for getting up in this dark autumn morning to speak to us down here in Australia. I'm going to hand straight over to you because I'm really keen. As I said to you, I've never actually been to Edinburgh, and your properties look beautiful, and I want to learn a little bit more. So all yours.
Brilliant. So thank you very much for having me today. It's a real pleasure to speak to you all. I was just explaining to Barry, I've got a real affection for Australia. My brother is out there, and I've got a little nephew and another little nephew on the way out in Melbourne. So been over a few times, and can't wait to get back over as well. Saying that, I am a very passionate and proud Scot, and I'm really excited to tell you a little bit about our capital city and about the beautiful residencies that we have in Edinburgh. So to start off, we have got 3 residencies in Edinburgh: Cheval Old Town Chamber, Cheval the Edinburgh Grand, and Cheval Apartments at Holyrood. You may already be familiar with the Cheval brand. They have a number of residencies in London, and we joined the portfolio in July, so it's all fairly new to us, but it's been a really exciting collaboration, and we've had some really positive results so far. So as I mentioned, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Edinburgh, Scotland's capital today, but just really to kind of set the scene, I just wanted to highlight exactly where each of the apartments are. So Edinburgh is actually, it's a very small city, and in fact it's quite often nicknamed the village. It only has a population of 500,000, and it's a very walkable city. As you can see here, there's a lot of green spaces, so you can get lots of fresh air, and our 3 residencies are right in the beating heart of the city, if you like, and all within walking distance of each other. So Cheval, the Edinburgh Grand, is situated on St Andrew's Square in the New Town, and I'll come on to a little bit more about that just shortly. We've then got the Old Town Chambers, situated at number 2, and you can actually just see how close it is to Edinburgh Castle. It's literally a stone's throw away, just off the Royal Mile. And then you've got Cheval Apartments, which sits, in fact I'm just going to lower my screen there, which sits at the bottom end of the Royal Mile and right next to Holyrood Palace, which is the residence of the royal family when they come and stay in Edinburgh. So just to kind of set the scene, I'm sure you're all very familiar with these images of Edinburgh. It really is a beautiful and historic city, situated on the southeast coast of Scotland. There really is no shortage of things to see and do, and probably most famously it's well known for its castle, which you can see in the top right hand side here. So Edinburgh Castle has loomed over the city since the 11th century, and it's set on an extinct volcanic rock, as you can see here. It attracts millions upon millions of visitors each year, and it's also the venue for the famous military tattoo, which takes place during the Edinburgh Festival in August in normal times. An interesting fact, the Edinburgh International Festival, which takes place in August, which is a number of different festivals, you know, you've got the film festival, the book festival, etc. It's actually the largest ticketed event in the world outside the Olympics. So there you go, who would have thought that? And it brings about an additional 4 million visitors to the city every summer. But as I was saying to Barry earlier, Edinburgh it's no longer a sort of seasonal city where, you know, tourists just come in the summer. It really is an all-round year destination. So given that we're in November, we would just be sort of getting ready to embrace the Christmas festival. And I was just sort of saying earlier, Edinburgh is such a beautiful city at this time of year. So whilst the days are a bit shorter, you've got the Christmas markets, which are all set up in the city centre. You've got all the fantastic lights, the smell of mulled wine, the cosy little bars and restaurants, great shopping, shopping, and lots of things to see and do. And then of course you've got our famous Hogmanay Street Party, which would again attract millions upon millions of visitors each year, and they put on a fantastic firework display. There's music, so there really is, you know, whilst we're in autumn and winter, it's definitely one to consider. So as I mentioned, it's got an awful lot of lovely green spaces. So on the top left hand side you've got Carlton Hill, which only takes it doesn't take too long to walk up here, but as you can see you get fantastic views over the city, and it's a really nice, I've done it a few times, where you kind of take a walk up in the morning with your morning coffee and just sit there and let the wind blow the cobwebs away and just sort of take in the views of this beautiful capital. We've also got Arthur Seat. Again, it's an extinct volcanic rock which you can climb. So I know that Australians are really into their outdoors and love their open spaces and exercise and things. So again, this is a lovely thing to do, just to really take in the views. But not only that, you've also got the famous Royal Mile, and you can see in the bottom left hand side corner here, this is Victoria Street, which runs up the Royal Mile. And as I mentioned earlier, you know, Edinburgh is such a walkable city, and you can just stroll around these cobbled streets, taking in the buildings, you know, the old tenement buildings which date back, you know, 500 odd years, you know, all the lovely little quirky individual shops and bars and restaurants and things. So it really has got a good atmosphere. Now, we can't mention Scotland and not mention whisky or golf, and I've got a little image here of one of Edinburgh's sort of best known whisky bars, which is the Devil's Advocate, which is pictured here in the bottom middle, and it's well known for its vast array of whiskies, and they do some amazing whisky cocktails, and it's actually located just right next door to Cheval Old Town Chambers, which is one of our properties, which I'll come on to in just a second. So it's a really good place to come and sort of do a tasting, and explore a little bit, learn a little bit about Scotland's national drink. We're also fortunate we've got a number of, so whilst so whisky is there's a, you know, the majority of distilleries are kind of up in the Highlands and Speyside and the islands as well, but Edinburgh's actually got a distillery just not too far, called Glenkinchie, excuse me, which has just recently been refurbished, and we're looking to sort of collaborate with these guys. So again, you know, if you wanted to kind of get out of the city, go and do a distillery tour, do a bit of a tasting and then come back in, it's all very, very feasible. I also mentioned golf, and we're very fortunate that in Scotland you're never too far from the sea. We're such a small country that you can literally get to the coast in probably no more than 2 hours, and Edinburgh is literally sort of 15 minutes away from the sea, and you've got the beautiful coastline of East Lothian. I believe you have some keen golfing clients, and East Lothian has got some really, you know, fantastic golf courses, some world-renowned golf courses. So you've got Gullen, Muirfield, Archerfield. So, you know, again, this is something that can be done really, really easily in a day. You can just get out to East Lothian, get away from the city centre, go and have a game of golf, go and explore some of the beautiful coastline, and then come back in and go for dinner and drinks and enjoy your evening. So, as I say, it really is. I could probably sort of talk for hours about Edinburgh and Scotland as a destination, and I guess really the kind of key thing is that it's very, you know, it's very walkable. There's lots of open spaces. There's a huge amount of history to explore. Very welcoming city. You know, people are super friendly, and are used to having a lot of tourists descend upon their city, so you're sure to get a really warm welcome. So let's move on. So first of all, I'm going to start our journey in Edinburgh's Old Town, and let me present to you Cheval Old Town Chambers. So Cheval Old Town Chambers is set over 3 medieval closes. It is literally just off the Royal Mile. So as you can see, as you may remember from the map, it was just literally a stone's throw. You could sort of walk up to the castle, no bother at all. It's a great location for exploring the kind of old town of the city. The residence consists of 50 apartments, and all of which are unique and reflect the quirky individuality of the building. The period features such as the original brick walls very much enhance the contemporary furnishings and all the mod cons that you would expect. It offers a range of apartments to suit any requirements, from open plan studios to a 3-bed penthouse overlooking the city. And each of the apartments is equipped with, sorry, I'm just having a little bit of, can't move my slide on. Sorry guys, the joys of technology.
We can't see you either. Perhaps it's.
Hang on.
Maybe put that back on. That's it. Yeah.
No, I am not able to move my slide. All right, let me just. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
What has happened? It's just frozen.
Does it allow you to unshare? No, I can pull it up. It'll
I'll
take me a second.
Let me stop share. Let me try again. Sorry about this.
That's all right.
I'm sure I'm not first and won't be the last. No, it doesn't seem to like this at all. Oh, there we go. Right.
Yeah.
If it's out, stop and start again.
It's too early in the morning for it. That's the problem.
I know it's too early in the morning. We've not woke up yet. Okay, so sorry about that. So as I was saying, each of the apartments are fully equipped with all of the sort of luxury amenities that you would expect from a 5-star hotel. So, you know, you get your robe, your slippers, your coffee machine, your Boss Sound speaker. We've got beautiful Malin and Goetz toiletries, and we've also got a 24-hour concierge and a gym on site as well. So, as I say, a really good option for exploring Edinburgh's Old Town. So then we head over just a short walk to the New Town, and Edinburgh's. So, sorry, I should probably explain to you a little bit about the Old Town and the New Town, because I'm sort of talking about these terms. You know, and making an assumption that everybody knows exactly what that means. So when we talk about, so the Old Town was originally Edinburgh's kind of city centre, if you like, and it was very much where the kind of wealthy merchants and elite would have stayed. And in fact, Old Town Chambers has one of the oldest buildings in Edinburgh, which dates back over 500 years, and it would have been home to, you know, sort of wealthy merchants and, you know, various sort of very well-to-do people in the city. Then they started to build the New Town in the 17th century. So when we talk about the New Town, it actually dates back to the 17th century, which I know is quite funny, really. And what happened was the elite started to kind of move out and moved into the New Town, and the Old Town became sort of much more kind of the working class and the, you know, sort of people that were not quite so well to do. So that's kind of a little bit of background. Obviously there's a lot more to it than that, but that kind of sets the scene a little bit. So when I talk about the New Town, it is literally across the road. So you've kind of got Princes Street, which is the main street which runs through in the middle of Edinburgh, and you literally kind of cross over Princes Street and that's you into the New Town. So there's not a huge difference, but funnily enough, you know, we do have a lot of guests who, you know, are either very much they want to be in the New Town or very much want to be in the Old Town. So it's quite a contentious subject. So I hope that kind of sets the scene a little bit better. So yeah, so we're now in the New Town. And I am going to introduce to you Cheval the Edinburgh Grand. So this property was actually built between 1936 and 1942. It was built as the global headquarters for the Royal Bank of Scotland, which it was that up until sort of 2007. It then lay derelict for a number of years, and has now been very respectfully and very beautifully restored to its former glories. I'm sure you will see from the images images here. Again, this residence has 50 apartments in total, all ranging from sort of open plan studios to 1 beds, 2 beds, and then we have the pièce de la résistance, our stunning 3-bedroom penthouse apartment which sits on the top floor of the building. So this was actually a new addition to this was actually sort of built on top of what would have been the original roof of the building. So this is a completely new structure. So this penthouse, the images really just don't do it justice, and I know the last time I spoke to Sarah I was actually presenting from on top of this terrace, and it was actually a day very similar to what you can see in the pictures here.
Yeah.
So it was a really beautiful experience. So as you can see, it's got its own private rooftop terrace, which offers, you know, truly breathtaking 360-degree panoramic views of the city. So you can see Edinburgh Castle, you can see Arthur's Seat, you can see the Walter Scott Monument, and then if you walk right the way around you get stunning views right across to the Kingdom of Fife, and across the Firth of Forth, the waterway which separates the two. This apartment has 3 bedrooms in total, all each with their own ensuite bathrooms, and all of the bedrooms have access onto the terrace as well from the bedrooms. So this can take up to 6 guests in total. In terms of dining, what's been very popular with some of our guests is to actually get a private chef in to come and cook for the guests. So you can just imagine, you know, a beautiful day, just sitting outside on the rooftop terrace, glass of fizz, cocktail, whilst your private chef is preparing a sumptuous meal. You come inside, you enjoy your meal, and then you can head back out onto the rooftop terrace for a wee dram, a wee whiskey, just as a bit of a nightcap, whilst the city sort of glistens below. So, you know, it really is the best room in the city, if not the country, and it's super popular for events as well. So we've done, you know, we've done sort of drinks receptions, we've done networking events, and as I'm sure you can imagine, it is probably the most sought after venue for the Hogmanay fireworks, because you really do get spectacular views when you're on that rooftop terrace. So what makes Cheval, the Edinburgh Grand, a little bit different from other luxury all-serviced apartments is the fact that we offer a wide array of food and beverage outlets, including the Register Club, which you can see here. So the Register Club is the property's own cocktail bar and lounge, and it sits on the 4th floor of the building with views overlooking St Andrew's Square. So this was originally the committee room for the bank, and it's been amazing that they've really managed to retain the original features as best as they can. And when you look at old pictures, you can see the wooden walls and the ornate ceiling. So it really is. It's a beautiful, elegant setting. We do sort of champagne afternoon tea throughout the day. We offer light bites as well, and it really is, it's a lovely place just to come. You know, you've perhaps been exploring the city through the day, come in here, come into the Register Club, you know, order a lovely glass of champagne, a nice cocktail or afternoon tea, sit and relax. Fantastic for pre-dinner drinks, or even coming in for a bit of a nightcap. Our staff are all fully trained and extremely knowledgeable about, you know, the sort of whiskies and sort of various sort of cocktail making and things. So so you can ask any sort of questions, you can get, you know, sort of recommendations and things. Quite often we'll have a jazz singer on over the weekend, so it really has a lovely atmosphere. And I think you know, it's a really lovely place just to sit, relax, you know, spend time with loved ones, and enjoy, you know, just enjoy the beautiful surroundings. So on a kind of slightly different note, We also have a fantastic venue called Lady Libertine, which is located within the building as well. Lady Libertine is set over the ground floor and the basement of the building. So the basement of the building was actually the original vaults for the bank. So it's where all the money was kept, essentially. And you can see the bottom middle picture there. That's the kind of night venue, and that was originally the vaults for the bank. So it's got a lot of the original features. So you can see here the pillars. They've retained some of the actual safes. So you can actually sort of see them, the walls, the iron walls, everything. So so again, you know, really kind of in keeping with the original building. So Lady Libertine is a sort of cafe bar restaurant, stroke wine restaurant by day, on the ground floor, as you can see in the top right hand corner, and then it becomes you can then head downstairs into the basement, which is a bit of a night venue later on. So the food that they offer is Middle Eastern style sort of mezze small plates. The cocktails that they make are very bespoke, and their wine list is sort of perfectly selected. It really does have a great atmosphere, and it's open until sort of 3 AM Thursday, Friday, Saturday, under normal circumstances. So certainly by fingers crossed by 2021, and at least by 2022 we'll be back to normality, and we'll see this place buzzing again. And they have sort of DJs on and things like that. So a really good addition to the property. We then also have Oxmoor Steakhouse and Seafood Restaurant. It is located on the ground floor, and it is actually in what would have been the original banking hall. So you can see from the images here, it's got these beautiful high ceilings and the ornate windows. And this is it's really popular with our hotel residents, but it's also popular with you know, kind of residents of the city as well. So it's always very, very busy. Always recommend that you make a reservation. But their specialities is very much steak, and they offer, you know, the prime cuts of beef, cooked to perfection. And they've also got a cocktail bar, which you can sort of see in the top right hand side corner. So again, they sort of design their own cocktails, as well as offering the sort of traditional cocktails that you would expect. So it's got a really good atmosphere, and I do speak from experience. I've eaten in this restaurant a number of times. I'm very fortunate, and whilst it's a very grand space, and sometimes kind of having such a large open space with these high ceilings can make a venue feel quite cold, actually, because of the very sort of clever lighting and the kind of decor, the colours. It's actually got a very cosy feel to it, and a really, really nice atmosphere. So I always kind of like to think of it as, I guess your guest journey could be something along the lines of, you're out exploring the city during the day, you come in, you relax, you spend a bit of time in your apartment, you get ready, you head to the Register Club for a pre-dinner cocktail or a nice glass of champagne. You could then head down to Oxmoor and enjoy a beautiful steak or one of their vegetarian options as well, and then you can head down to Lady Libertine and have a bit of a dance the night away up until the wee small hours, and then literally it's just a case of jumping in the lift and falling into your beautiful apartment and having a good night's sleep. So yeah, and that's all within one building. So once you've partied the night away or enjoyed Edinburgh's wonderful food and drink, your guests might want to work it off, and we have got a brilliant 24-hour gym facility which is operated by K-Fit. So this gym is open 24 hours a day. And it also offers HIIT sessions as well, at an additional cost. Okay, So, last but not least, let me just finally introduce to you Cheval Apartments at Holyrood. So we're heading back over to the Old Town. This residence is the newest to our portfolio. It opened in February. It traded for 2 weeks and then we had to close, so it's not had the best start, unfortunately, due to COVID, but it's a project very close to my heart, and it's a property which really exceeds expectation. And when I say the photos don't do it justice, that's not just me speaking, that's coming from clients that I've had the privilege to show around the property. So let me tell you a little bit about Cheval Apartments at Holyrood. Excuse me. So this property is actually located right on the doorstep of Holyrood Palace, which, as I mentioned, is the home to the royal family when they come to stay in Edinburgh. The building itself dates back over 500 years, and it's said to actually be older than the castle itself, the palace itself, and it's got a huge amount of history linked to it. So it was home to Mary Queen of Scots courtiers when she was in residence at the palace. It's been a workhouse. I think it was a brothel at one point, but most famously, it was actually a sanctuary for people in debt during the 17th century. So people from all over Europe would apply to come and take sanctuary here if they had a huge amount of debt. And how that worked was they had up to 40 families at one point staying in this building, and they were allowed out on a Sunday. They couldn't get arrested on a Sunday, the day of the Lord. So apparently there's some fantastic stories of, sort of policemen bribing landlords to forward on their clocks to try and catch people out, people running back, folk running down the Royal Mile trying to get back for midnight to get into Abbey Strand, so they couldn't get caught. So what they've decided to do is each apartment has been named after a colourful character who stayed in the building. So we've got, for instance, the Comte d'Artois, we've got Thomas de Quincey, who wrote the memoirs of an English opium eater. We've had opera singers, so lots of different characters that have been researched, and what's really nice is their story is very much woven throughout the journey of the guest. So because of the shape and size of this building, we actually only have 9 apartments in total. We have 4 open plan studios, 4 1-beds and a 2-bed apartment. The building itself is actually owned by the Royal Collection Trust, which is headed up by Prince Charles. So, and this is the first project of its kind that they've embarked upon. And he was very heavily involved in the project, right down to approving the wallpaper, the colour scheme, the paint, the curtains, etc. So it's really nice that to kind of have his input. Again, because of the shape and size of the building, it's worth just noting that there are no elevators in this building and there are no interconnecting rooms. So it really, when you walk into this building, you feel like you're stepping into history, and you feel like, you really get that sense of sort of bygone days. It has, you can see by the colours, it has a very sort of calming effect on you when you walk in, which is quite hard to explain. And I think the best way I can explain it is, when you walk into a spa and you get those lovely smells and you just feel instantly relaxed. I feel when I walk into Abbey Strand Apartments, you just feel instantly relaxed. It's very soothing. The colours are very muted. It's quite a quiet part of town. You're just right. You can actually get views. So some of the apartments actually have views into Holyrood Palace, views of Arthur's Seat, and of course the Scottish Parliament as well. So you know, again, a great place to explore. And if you have clients that are particularly interested in history and the kind of royal family and things, then this is really an ideal location, an ideal base to base yourself from. It's also ideal for any kind of, you know, if you've got any kind of multi-generational groups that are looking to perhaps take it over for exclusive use. You know, the fact that we've only got 9 apartments makes it a really nice venue. If you do have a kind of, you know, a group of friends or family who are travelling to the city together, and the idea of having this exclusively as your own little space is certainly something to consider. We do have on-site concierge, which is, we have a reception desk which is manned from 9 till 5, Monday to Sunday. Thereafter, we have telephones in the room, so that if anybody needs to speak to somebody, they just pick up the phone and it directs it dials straight through to Old Town Chambers or to the Edinburgh Grand, so you've got access to somebody 24 hours a day. So, you know, why do our customers book with Cheval? And I've probably kind of touched upon a lot of these whilst sort of talking through the Edinburgh presentation, but just very briefly, just to kind of summarise, we do have 24-hour concierge and security. We are pet friendly, although I'm not sure you'd be bringing your pets from Australia, but just to keep in mind. We've got a reservations office which is open 7 days a week. Whilst we are luxury serviced apartments, we do offer daily housekeeping. We are child friendly, and as I've mentioned, we have an on-site gym as well in the Edinburgh properties. And again, here are just some of the other key benefits, and I guess it's kind of worth just pointing out that, you know, our apartments do offer all the kind of luxuries that you would expect from a 5-star hotel, but in addition, we have our fully equipped kitchens with all of your you know, sort of utensils and things like that. So, you know, if you know, guests are still a bit wary of you know, kind of dining out and things like that, then, you know, the option there is to sort of prepare your own meals and things. So it's really nice just to kind of have that on site as well. And I think that pretty much brings me to the end of my presentation. So thank you very much for your time.
Oh, thanks, Lynn. Beautiful. I had a couple of questions, but you just answered most of them in that last couple of slides there. Firstly, I was going to ask you about multi-gen, because I really believe that, you know, we've all missing families from all over the world, and we're probably all going to come together on these big family trips, and you just answered it perfectly there with the Abbey being the perfect property.
Yeah, definitely.
And also just the Register Club. If they're staying in one of the other properties, are they welcome to go over and enjoy something like high tea at the Register Club?
Absolutely. So the Register Club is open to residents as well as non-residents as well. Okay. So they're more than welcome to use that facility as well. Old Town Chambers, I didn't mention, but just because you've kind of said, you know, potentially travel will come back sort of maybe more 2022, we're actually building an extension onto Cheval Old Town Chambers. So we're going to have an additional 25 apartments. So that'll bring us up to 75 in total. Wow. What it means is the entrance for Cheval Old Town Chambers will actually be right on the Royal Mile. So which is kind of hard to explain when you've not seen it, but at the moment you have to kind of go down the medieval close to get to it. So this will make it a little bit more accessible if you do have a group of people, and they are going to have a restaurant as well. Oh, and we are hoping to have that finished at some point next year. So obviously there's been delays and things, but we're hoping that will be complete next year. So I'll definitely kind of keep you posted on that development too.
Sounds perfect. Now I've got one other question that's got nothing to do with your property. What can you tell me about this knighted penguin?
Oh.
Is it true?
Oh, yeah, there is a knighted. Oh my God, what's his name? He's like he's got a Norwegian name.
Yeah.
So Edinburgh Zoo is famous for its penguin parade. God, I can't believe I'm talking about this. And and there is a knighted penguin. I can't remember the story now.
Yeah, he has definitely got a Norwegian name, if it's true. I don't know. I wasn't sure if it was a folklore.
I was going to say Olaf, but that's from Frozen. I don't know if it's Olaf. I'll look into it and I'll send Sarah the details. I can't remember the exact, but yeah, it is true. It is true.
Fabulous. Well, beautiful, great properties, and as we know, Australians like to travel further and longer. So if they are in Scotland and they want to have a nice, relaxing time with access to dishwashers and washing their clothes, etc., that's also another benefit before they jump on a cruise to elsewhere.
Yeah.
Sarah, anything else you want to add from an Australian perspective?
Oh, only I think that it's fantastic you can have all that extra space as well when you travel.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's lovely to have the lounge room, the kitchen, all of those facilities as well. But I can't wait to come up because I haven't seen these yet and I really do want to, because it's got such a lot to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. Well, thank you once again, Lynn, and also for Sarah for organising today. Today has been recorded, so we will be putting it onto the website and sending it out to anybody that registered that couldn't attend. And I just hope to get up to Edinburgh myself sometime too. And
I know. We'll
buy
do
a whiskey.
I'll come to Australia. You can come to Scotland.
Fabulous. Once again, thanks again everybody for joining, and if you do have any questions about these properties or others, give us a call in the office. You can make an appointment to come in and see us as well. You all know where we are, 93390277 or bictontravel.com.au. Thanks again, Lynn. Thank you, Sarah, and thanks to everybody joining in.
Thank you.
Bye.